up, guys? Welcome to Boxing Blog Center, the home of Nigerian African boxing. And please, if you're new to this channel, make sure you click the like and, of course, the subscribe button right now. I want to first of all say big ups and shout out to each and every one of you that support the channel. Shout out to my brother Mayo Joe. Shout out to my brother Adewale. Shout out to Tajagbe. And of course, Winke Ejiofor. I do appreciate you all. And listen, man, this is big. This is big right here. You know, Matri Boxing. I just stated that Anthony Joshua wants to get into that trash talk environment. According to the end, he said, I quote, "I think you are gonna get a different Anthony Joshua in this beat up. I think he wants to be in that trash talk environment. I think he's gonna enjoy it. AJ will be going to war with Tyson Fury. He has plans to go in there and absolutely demolish him." Yes, Sky Sports. By the way, Fury gave Sky Sports. Is it Sky Sports or BT Sport? BT or I don't know, Talk Sport. He gave one of those guys an exclusive interview yesterday, which I did enjoy. You know, the guy was, literally saying Joshua has no chance. Fury sees himself as a god. But regarding this trash talking stuff, the last time Joshua trash talked someone was, against Dillian White. Yeah, you know, you might say Jeremy Miller, but that was already a trash talk. Joshua just he shut Miller down. It was like a counter kind of thing. You know, he countered him. He countered his words, and that was what I saw. But the Joshua White build up was really, really a special one, I must say. Let's get our brother in right here, Adewale Afana. What's up? What you say? What did stop?
Hey,
everybody.
Hey, thank you so much, my bro. Everybody is doing well. Family is doing great. Boxing is looking like there is some hope that we are about to experience. So that's a good thing, man. You know, boxing has been taking too many losses recently, so I'm looking forward to any good news. I don't care if it's AJ Fury, Wilder, whatever, man. We just need good fights. That's the most important thing. And thank you for what you do. Salute to all the brothers on the panel. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Click on the like button once you come in. Let's get this work, man.
Yeah, brother. So, what do you make of Joshua? Joshua is looking like Joshua is about to get into the trash talk environment. Against Fury. This one is for this is like a special edition, you know, because listen, I believe you me. I don't know if Joshua is just gonna sit down there and just watch Fury, you know, literally rip him apart. Because in as much as Joshua is a very quiet guy, he doesn't talk trash and other stuff. He's not a trash talker like that. Of course, he's got the confidence. He talks like a fighter sometimes, but he's not someone you would call a trash talker, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in this case right here, you know, does Joshua has to bring some Deontay Wilder in? You know, I know you're Deontay Wilder fan. You know, you think Joshua is bringing Wilder style in or what?
Man, honestly, oh man, my boy Wilder is a trash talker, you know, and he backs it up, man. He will trash talk you and knock you out. That's one thing I love about Deontay the Bronze Bomber. When it comes to Joshua is a great fighter without a doubt, but he's not that guy that has that natural instincts of being able to trash talk and just dismantle his opponents, except a guy like Dillian White. Like you said earlier, Dillian White brought out some trash talking out of Joshua. We've seen the same thing happen with Jarrell Miller. Miller was going hard. Miller is crazy, man. You know, the American guys, this guy is naturally trash talk, most of them, right? So Jarrell Miller pushed Joshua.
Like the Gypsies guy or what? Like the Gypsy guys.
Oh yeah, just like the gypsies. Yeah, the gypsies, man. The gypsies are trash talkers, bro. But they don't back it up. That's the difference between the gypsies and the black Americans. Okay? Black American guys, they will trash talk and back it up.
Fury. I'm not a Fury fan, but he did back up his words. You know.
Yeah.
You know, against Water. He did say he was going to knock him out.
Man.
Yeah.
He said he was going to knock him out. I for a fact did not believe that was possible, but he did. You know, well, he didn't knock him out. That was a stoppage, right? The ref threw the corner threw the towel.
Let's say he beat him up. He beat him up.
He beat him up. You know, there's still a lot of controversies around that fight. Me, I still personally believe that Fury cheated. Okay, I definitely believe that he cheated. But that's my opinion. Honestly, bro. Oh, he definitely cheated, bro. Go look at the gloves, man. Those gloves did not look normal. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Joshua. Joshua wanting to trash talk against Fury. I don't think it's a good idea, to be honest, because Tyson Fury is a natural trash talker. That guy knows how to trash talk. And if Joshua gets dragged into the deep end against Fury, in that trash talking department, man, the words might actually start getting to him, and he might start getting emotional. And if he gets emotional, going into the ring against Fury emotional, he will probably lose. His chances of losing would increase. So I think it's better Joshua remains himself. Okay, if you feel like you need to respond to some disrespectful things that Fury would say, we trust Fury. Fury's gonna say stuff like, "Oh, he's just a big, ugly dosser. Oh, he's a big for nothing robot." Oh, you know, he's just gonna say a lot of stuff. Joshua just needs to focus.
I don't agree. I don't agree with what you say right now, because Fury literally has one line. Okay, against Joshua so far, against Klitschko, he had 100 lines. 100 lines for Klitschko. Against Joshua, he only has one line: big ugly dosser. When Joshua told him, listen, when Joshua told him, man up, I thought he was going to come up with something like creative. He came up with the same thing: big ugly dosser. Like I was expecting more trash stuff from Fury. So in a press conference, listen, August 14th is going to be massive. Okay, that's the day this fight is happening. And Eddie Hearn just confirmed today that the Saudi Arabians, the Saudi billionaires, are going to build a special arena for this fight, like the way they did with the Ruiz Joshua rematch. So what does that insinuate? That's just that kind of insinuate that, listen, this fight is going to be bigger than we think, and it's going to be massive. Maybe it's going to be more than 15,000 there. You know, the last time was 15,000 there, right?
Yeah.
The seats are going to be close to 50. You know, they have to make it 50, at least 50. You know, the UK, because the UK fans can literally travel to Saudi Arabia, because in Saudi Arabia, that, you know, the testing procedure, everything are going to be tight, are going to be in place for everyone. And you know already, they always keep the country safe. Okay, say everything you want about Saudi Arabia, but you cannot say that they don't keep their country safe in terms of safe from disease, from terrorism, and from other stuff as well.
Yeah, they use a lot of unethical methods though. Well, I don't want to go into that.
Bro, forget about that for now. But I'm saying they keep their country safe. Okay, that's what matters.
They keep their country safe, but in the process of keeping your country safe, they treat Ethiopians and Kenyans like trash. That's what I'm saying. You saw how they deported 3,000 Ethiopians and Kenyans in a cargo plane.
I want to ask you a question now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I understand what you're saying, but that's a different case. Okay, that's a different matter. You know, that's a humanitarian talk, which we don't really we want to get into now, because we're talking about Joshua and this kind of stuff. At the same time, looking at Texas that day, even though we saw more than 72,000 people attended that fight. Okay, Blue Sanders against the Canelo. Okay, now are you gonna say that in that 70,000 crowd? Okay, are you saying that, don't you think more people might have gotten infected by COVID? Bro, I'm listening. You don't come on the way to Adewale, are you there? I've been on network again, Seth. Me network don't fuck up today. If he fuck up tomorrow, yesterday, me don't fuck up tomorrow as well. Are you there? Adewale?
He's not there.
Okay. Adewale is not here. Okay. Adewale, I don't, maybe something happened. He should rejoin again. My Joe, you want to come in? My Joe.
Adewale is back on.
Okay, Adewale. Okay. I don't know what happened to you, but I just say I don't defeat you. Say don't come on.
Sorry, I don't even hear what you talk the last like 2 minutes, 1 minute. Sorry.
I say, looking at the 72,000 crowd, okay, that was present in the Canelo versus Sanders fight. Don't you think a couple of people, let's say, got infected with COVID?
Man, most definitely that would have happened, man. But at the same time, the US, especially the southern states, I believe they have a high immunization rate. And for that reason, they are able to take the risks of opening the entire economy, having thousands of fans in the stadium and stuff like that. So it's a 50-50 thing, right? We can't even tell, but it is what it is. They'll be fine. If anybody contracts COVID, you're most likely going to recover, because the death rate is very, very, very low. But yeah, do you want me to go into the Joshua Fury situation?
Yeah. Continue, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm just imagining the kind of exchanges that will be going on in the press conference between Joshua and Fury. So Fury is going to say stupid, crazy stuff like, I made you. Without me, there is no you. You're the reason you're getting this payday. I am your biggest payday. Those are the types of crazy things that Tyson Fury would say. And most definitely, Joshua will be laughing it off. And if he tries to trash talk, if it's not coming naturally, he's trying to say, oh, sit down. I am your biggest payday. He might fall into the trap of Tyson Fury, because I believe that Tyson Fury has the natural gift of gab, and he has the natural ability to disrespect people lying straight into your face, which Joshua doesn't have. So for that reason, I would advise Joshua, if you could listen to this video, just be your own self, man. If you feel like you need to diss this guy, diss him, but don't go crazy. Don't pretend. Don't go out there and be saying stuff that does not naturally come to you. Because if you do that, then you might fall for the mind games. Because Tyson Fury plays a lot of mind games, right?
What if listen, bro? Listen. What if Joshua were to say to Fury, what happened to your boy? What about the boy meat?
That's
bro.
What Joshua did.
But just imagine Joshua say that. That would shut Fury up.
Joshua already said he has a catalog. In fact, I'll let Adewale finish.
Adewale, finish.
Yo, Joshua needs to go there, tell Tyson Fury, hey man, what about that farmer that you guys threatened to beat up because he refused to testify for you in court? What about that farmer? What about that situation where you allegedly had something in your gloves against Deontay Wilder? Now everybody's gonna laugh that off, saying, oh, that's not possible. Okay, what about you cheating against Vladimir Klitschko and refusing to fight him the second time? What about you not ever having defended your title? The only reason why you're taking this fight is because the world is against you and everybody sees you as a ducker, as a fake world heavyweight title champion. Okay, so these are some trash talk points that Anthony Joshua can use against Tyson Fury, and I feel like they'll be very effective. But at the same time, he doesn't need to go crazy over the board.
Bro. That boy meat alone will shook Fury. That's a fact.
Trust me, bro. Fury, see, I've seen so many crazy things in the sport of boxing. Fans will just sweep that away. They'll sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah, the Nandrolone. We need to know about the Nandrolone. The Nandrolone, that positive.
Man,
we need to know about that.
I've seen so much hypocrisy in boxing, just like it is in real life. As far as people support you, they don't care how bad your track record is. They will support you. So no matter what Anthony Joshua says, if he talks about Nandrolone, if he talks about the Boa Meat situation, we supporters of Anthony Joshua, we're going to like that. But Tyson Fury supporters will be like, it's all lies. It's all
bro, when have you been a supporter of Anthony Joshua? See, Adewale, you're one a fan. What do you mean by that? Supporter of Joshua.
Doesn't mean that I'm not a Joshua fan. That's one thing you need to understand. You also need to understand, I naturally have to support Joshua because we're from the same place, literally from the same place, bro. That man is from my hometown. Why
Bro,
wouldn't I support
bro,
him? I
bro,
just
bro, bro, bro. That
Joshua.
doesn't mean shit. Your track
No, no,
record,
no, no, bro.
your
Being a Wilder fan don't mean you might be you may love Wilder, but that don't mean that you still don't
Adewale,
support other
bro. The way
fighters.
Adewale listen, Adewale, the way Adewale was trash talking Joshua that time, man. During the, I mean, I saw his statements that time on RDBC platform, bro. You,
Let me tell you something.
I was even thinking
When
you
it
are a
comes to
troll, bro. I never thought you were a real person, bro. I told you.
let me tell you something. Bro. When it comes to Deontay Wilder, I would support Deontay Wilder over Anthony Joshua any day, anytime. That's just me. That's what I choose to do. But that doesn't mean that I hate Joshua. Especially when it comes
I'm
to-
not saying you hate him. I'm not saying you hate him at all. I'm not saying that.
I actually like Joshua, bro. I like that dude, man. There was a time I got so pissed off with Joshua, I unfollowed him on Twitter, so Instagram, everything. Because I was sick and tired of the way they were treating Deontay. But then, fast forward, I'm here again where I'm like, man, put your emotions aside. Just like the sport of boxing. I like Joshua, I like Wilder, I like Fury in the ring, but I don't like him as a person outside the ring. Okay, so me supporting Deontay Wilder doesn't mean that I dislike Joshua. I like Joshua, but if Joshua and Wilder were to fight tomorrow, I will be rooting for Wilder. That's just me. Yeah, that's all I have to say, bro.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. My Joe, come in, bro.
Yes, sir. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are well.
Yeah, man, we're
Um,
good.
It's always nice, man. It's always nice for us to have these discussions. Right. I'm gonna come from a different angle, right? Let me tell you one fact. I'll tell you guys one fact. And for people who live in the UK or people who are familiar with Joshua and Fury, I'm sure they will agree with me that Fury cannot get into Joshua's head. I'm telling you, I'll give you my reasons. People see Fury as a clown. Now, the reason why Fury was able to get into Deontay Wilder's head is simply because Deontay Wilder is not familiar with Fury. So, and I can also say that the same thing happened with Klitschko. They're not familiar with this guy. You guys don't understand. In the UK, Fury is like a joke. And that's why people don't go to his fights. That's why he's not a pay-per-view star. That's why he can't sell out. I don't even think that Fury can sell out 10,000 tickets in the UK. I don't think he can. I'm actually telling you the truth now. I don't think he's able to do that. Okay. So people look at this guy. He has some fans, people who just have massive dislike for Joshua, especially after that Black Lives Matter situation. And then they turned against him and started supporting Fury. But they will not pay to watch Fury. I'm telling you. So Fury is not a guy that he doesn't command that fan base. Okay. And when it comes to trash talk, you see the way Joshua sees Fury, and he's always seen Fury like that way. He's always seen Fury as a clown. Like, oh, this guy is just a comedian. He doesn't take Fury seriously. I'm telling you, he doesn't see him as a guy that, oh my God, this guy is a serious guy. He doesn't see him that way. And that's why every time Joshua talks, you'll hear Joshua say that, oh, Fury is always going to be Fury. Have you guys heard him say that before?
Yeah, I've heard him. Yeah,
exactly. So so the way he sees Fury as a guy who is just going to be Fury. He's just a clown. He's just a guy who he just lies a lot. He's not stable. You know, he's just a joker basically, and a joke. Not even a joker alone. He's a joker and a joke. So he's not going to get into Joshua's head because Joshua just finds him funny. That's the thing. Like Deontay Wilder took him too seriously. Klitschko took him too seriously. But these other fighters just find him funny, especially fighters from the UK. They just find him funny. They just think that this guy is just a clown. So what is he going to say? Oh, you got beaten by a fat, short Mexican. And Joshua is probably going to respond, well, the same fat, short Mexican that I disgraced in the second bout, the same fat, short Mexican that you were in America, you were running around with. So all that is not going to face him. What is he going to say? You are a stiff robot and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but a stiff robot that won the Olympics, a stiff robot with 3 belts, a stiff robot who has defended his belt on numerous occasions. Like, I don't see where Fury is going to, I don't see what he's going to say to Joshua that Joshua has not heard before. You big ugly dosa. I'm not ugly, mate. You need to look at yourself. What is he gonna? What is he gonna say to him? What is he going to say to Joshua? What is he gonna say to him? Oh, I made you. No, you didn't make me. You bleached Klitschko in a snooze fest, and you ran away after that. You never gave him a rematch. And I remember watching one of Joshua's interview a couple of months ago, last month, and he was saying that he said he's got catalog of things to say about Fury. He said that this man, whenever he wins, there is always a controversy that follows any of his wins. So when he beat Klitschko, massive controversy. He beat Wilder, controversy. Joshua is going to bring all that up. He's going to bring it up. He's going to say to him that anytime you tell me one time where I've had a big win, me, Anthony Joshua, and there has been controversy after my win. Fury won't be able to mention anything. He's going to, as a matter of fact, don't be surprised. Joshua is not going to be in constant exchange of words and shouting and screaming. No. He won't do that. You know, Joshua is a cryptic guy. He will drop his words or his sentences one at a time. He's not going to be wasting his words. Joshua, Fury is going to say so many things. He's going to waste a lot of his words, a lot of his points. He's going to get to a point where he won't have nothing to say. He's just going to be repeating himself. But I don't think Joshua will repeat himself. Joshua will repeat. He will just drop his points one at a time, but those points will hurt Fury. Don't be surprised that this might be the first time that Fury is going to lose that head game. Don't be surprised that this is probably going to be the first time that he will lose it, because people over there will know Fury. There is nothing Fury is doing. It's just people outside the UK who don't know Fury that take him seriously. That is why he's bigger in America than he is in the UK, because they don't take him seriously. They just see him as a clown. We see Fury as a clown. He's just a clown. He's just a funny guy. He's just a guy who is not stable. And that's how Joshua sees him as well. So I don't see how Fury is able to get into Joshua's head at all. As a matter of fact, the two people that got into Joshua's head, Dillian White, because there was an history, and Jarrell Miller, and just because of who Jarrell Miller is, and the fact that Joshua didn't really know Jarrell Miller that well. So he was able to he got Joshua upset. He didn't get into his head, actually. He just got him upset. So there's a difference. Living in someone's head rent-free is different from getting someone upset. Right now, as we speak, Joshua is already living in Fury's head, because he's been living in his head for a long time. Because even when Fury wasn't fighting, when he had his, in quotes, mental health issues, he was still talking about Joshua. He's been living in his head for a long time. He's so jealous of Joshua's success. He's so jealous to see how far Joshua has gone. In fact, he's been hating on Joshua from when he won the Olympics, when his fame and his popularity started becoming something out of control. So that hatred and jealousy has started since then. So he's been living in Fury's head for a long, long time. This is not Wilder. He's not going to tell Joshua that, oh, you fought bombs. He can't say that to him. He can't say that to Joshua. Because if he opens his mouth to say that, as a matter of fact, everyone is going to look at Fury and be like, what? Are you serious? You're saying he fought bombs? Have you looked at your own record? So for me, he's not going to get into Joshua's head. I have to be honest with you. I think this is probably going to be the first time that Fury will lose that battle. Because one, like I said, I'm just going to recap, Joshua does not take Fury seriously. Most people in the UK most people in the UK don't take Fury seriously. They just see him as a clown, as a joke. He's just a funny guy, just a joke. That's why I said it. He doesn't sell in the UK. It doesn't sell. It doesn't sell. He's not a star like that. So people should not get it twisted, man. Joshua also can trash talk. There is a difference between just shouting and screaming and trash talking. Trash talking is saying shit about someone. He's going to say a lot of shit about Fury. Fury just going to be there shouting, "You big dogs, are you this, you that?" That's all he's going to say. And he's going to say, "Oh, you got beaten by the fat Mexican." And Joshua is going to respond to him and say, "Well, I went back into the ring with that fat Mexican and I schooled him. I taught him how to box. I showed him what he said I couldn't do. You lost it, I can't box. I showed you what boxing really is." So tell me, what other thing can he say about Joshua? Is he going to say that Joshua can't sell fights? Is he going to say that Joshua is not a pay-per-view star? Is he going to say, "Oh, come on, man, seriously, he's not winning that battle for sure"? And I actually want Joshua to trash talk him. Joshua is not going to shout. He's not going to be screaming, and no, he's just going to release his points one at a time. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, brother. I do definitely appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Jagbe, are you here with us, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm here, bro.
So, Joshua versus Fury, who wins in the trash talk? And what do you make of Eddie Hearn saying that, listen, Joshua is said to wants to get into the trash talk environment for his build-up fight against Tyson Fury, in August?
These guys all made a great point when it comes to the trash talk. I honestly believe in this department for the trash talking, I don't think Fury would likely do much trash talking, just because he really doesn't have much to say. Everything that I believe Fury should say, AJ is gonna have a counter for that. If you no matter what it is, I 100% believe AJ has a counter for it. Whether it's AJ getting knocked clean out by Andrew Ruiz, there's a counter for that too. Whether it's AJ being looking like a bodybuilder, there's a counter for that too. There's a counter for it all. So Tyson Fury, I don't think he would win in that department at all. So it might just be a different Tyson. Like I've said, Tyson Fury, eventually those mind games, they're not gonna work on everybody. They're not gonna work because the next person you meet might just be mentally tact. It might just be ready. And he might just be ready for war. And those games that you play mentally, the person that you meet is looking to cave your head in, and it might just not work on him. Much like how these guys, Billy Joe Saunders was trying to talk to Canelo, but it didn't work on him. Canelo looked like what Canelo wanted to do was just cave Billy Joe's head in and just move on. He had one thing in mind, and I believe AJ has one thing in mind, and that's to get that belt away from Tyson Fury. And I don't think Tyson Fury, the most he could do is repeat the same old thing he always repeats. That's it, man. Everybody's starting to catch on to that. Him repeating the same old thing, big, ugly, docile, the stiff bodybuilder, this and that. Like, that's it, man. Like, you've said it over and over again. It's old. Now, for AJ, for instance, he could really open the Pandora's box on Tyson Fury, and it'll get Tyson Fury thinking, and that'll play in Tyson Fury's head. There's a whole bunch of stuff AJ could use, but I honestly believe Tyson wouldn't even go there. If he goes there, just he better ready to take what he dished out. So it's gonna be interesting though. That's for sure.
Wow. So do you think Fury might bring some? Someone told me yesterday. He said Fury is probably going to mention the Black BLM movement that Joshua participated in last time. Do you see that happening? Do you think he might do that?
I don't think he would do that.
Stoop so low.
That would be absolutely low. That would be the dumbest thing Fury would say in his career. I believe it 100%. Because one, the Black Lives Matter movement is specifically for the the black people, or African American, or people of color, basically. And people of color support Tyson, so going there would be wrong. Fury has been in the wrong for so long, and people are starting to catch on to him. Supporting Winston Churchill.
You heard about the Israel one?
Yeah, the with the one with the Israel, like
he said he didn't post that, but what's so funny? And the original posted the same thing on his story, and Andrew Jr. didn't get a backlash because nobody cares about Andrew Jr. and it's not important. The guy's a chameleon. And by the way, Mexicans are known to be. It's funny how they are Catholic at the same time. Catholic was formed by the Romans, which are basically Italians. And Israel is not a Christian nation; it's a Jewish nation. Like the Israel, modern Israel. So it's funny though, because people just talk about things they don't know. And I think what he did, he thought he was gonna get away with it, but he didn't know that. He didn't know he has a lot of Muslim followers. I don't know any Muslim guy that says he like that. I don't know any Muslim guy who, I don't know, is a hardcore supporter of Andrew, like that. But there are millions of them that support Joshua. That's a fact, I'm talking about Muslims in general, both black, white, Asian, everybody, not just, I'm not talking about Arabs. They're all Muslims. So, and original doesn't have that kind of appeal. The guy just a fat bastard.
BBC, do you mind if I just
BBC? As you see me now, listen, bro, I have gained some weight on my abdomen. You understand? So, Pat, I need to lose some. I've stopped training for some time now. I need to start training again. Bro. But believe you me, even though I've stopped training for some time now, I still look better than Andrew. That's for sure. I'm like, sorry, bro. My Joe, come. My God. Oh.
I don't know if we should if we should go that route.
No. I just said for myself. Okay. For myself.
No, because the thing is, Andy Ruiz Jr. only became popular since the fight with AJ. So I wouldn't say that Andy Ruiz. I mean, even when you look at his social media handle, like his Instagram, obviously before he fought AJ, I think he was below 100,000 or below 10,000, something like that. But then as soon as that fight was announced and he beat AJ the first time, his popularity went up. I think he has about 1.2 million followers, but he's not really improved since then because Andy Ruiz Jr. is not a big star like that. But there's a guy in the chat.
No, he has 1.8 now.
1.8, okay.
After that Joshua fight, he gained like he had 1.6, and he remained 1.6 for a long time until his last fight, and then he gained 200,000 followers. Mexicans.
Right. Just to address someone real quick in the chat, when I talked about Tyson Fury not being very popular in the UK, mate, and the guy responded by saying that, this guy must have been living in the UK for a couple of years or something like that. Well, the thing is, I just want to say I've been living in the UK since 2003, all right? And I may not know so much about the UK, but I do know a bit. And I do know that Fury wasn't a big name. It wasn't a household name. Even when he beat Klitschko, the news was out there that he beat Klitschko. It was big, it was massive, people were happy. But Fury, people didn't accept him, all right? People did not accept Fury. And that was one of the reasons why Fury went into that depression, because the reception he was expecting to have, he didn't get the reception. So don't turn around and say that and tell me that I must have been living in the UK for a couple of years. I do know a fair bit about the UK. So Fury only started becoming really popular, I would say, within the last 3 years. Like his appeal, people started accepting Fury, I would say properly, within the last 3 years. But before then, Fury was not accepted. And that is the reason why Fury doesn't do well in terms of his fights. I'm talking about numbers now. His numbers don't do great. Even when he became a star, the only reason why his numbers were great the last time was because he fought Wilder. Tell me, and then obviously when he fought Klitschko, tell me one fight where Fury fought a nobody, or let me say an average boxer in terms of popularity, and people turned out to watch Fury, or people bought his pay-per-views. Mate, don't say what you don't know, and don't talk about me because you don't know me. All right? Fury only started becoming popular in terms of acceptance within the last 3 years. And even at that, he's still not that big because
yes, I agree.
He can't single-handedly.
We have Robbie T in the house. Robbie T in the house. The storyteller.
Who is that guy who was just speaking?
His name is I Lucan. The guy always comes in the chat to talk rubbish.
Get ready, guy. Get ready for some boxing class.
Who is that guy who is just
Robbie
talking? Who is that guy?
This is Maya Joe.
Maya Joe. Listen,
yes, sir.
I 100% agree with what you're saying because sorry to interrupt. Evening, guys.
Go on.
Sorry. I got carried away when I was listening to Maya Joe talking. I got carried away.
Robbie's back. Robbie's back.
Say hello. But listen, guys. Evening, guys. Even to all of you on the onto the call. Maya Joe, Ty Jagbe, hello Ty.
Adewale also here. Yeah. Olajide is not here though.
Olajide is not here.
Isioma is in the house as well.
Isioma is there.
Yeah. Evening to all of you guys. It's always a pleasure. I'm sorry I couldn't get to the other calls. Listen,
I thought I was invincible, although I didn't know you guys fished me out.
Listen.
I didn't know that because I didn't check. But Joe always has eyes everywhere.
That guy who was just talking, Maya Joe. Listen, I 100% agree with what you're saying. The reason Tyson Fury went into this depression is what I said this all along. Because when he fought Klitschko, the adulation and the reception he thought he was going to get from the British public, he never got. In fact, people don't even they remember that he beat Klitschko, but they don't even remember the fight because the fight was a boring fight. And the fight was uninteresting. And all that people remember is that Klitschko lost. They don't even remember how Fury won. And the thing is, at the press conference, the post-fight press conference, right? John Fury had to get up and say, listen, what an amazing achievement my son achieved and all this kind of thing. My son achieved this great feat. Because there was silence in the post-fight press conference because people seemed uninterested. It seemed like it was a funeral. There was no kind of celebrations. Listen, when Anthony Joshua won in his 15th or 16th fight, when he beat Charles Martin, the man became larger than life in the UK. He almost couldn't go nowhere, and he'd only had 15 fights, And when he beat Klitschko, it got even worse for AJ. And you ask Eddie Hearn what Eddie Hearn was saying. Eddie Hearn was saying, listen, this guy can't even go out with his friends for a meal because the man is mobbed. After the Charles Martin fight, it was bad. But after the Klitschko fight, it was even worse, you see. And Tyson Fury have always been jealous and always been envious of Anthony Joshua's success. But you see, what Tyson Fury don't realize is Anthony Joshua, they had a plan. I always said that they had a plan for Anthony Joshua's career. When he won the Olympic gold and he went to Eddie Hearn and they sat down in Eddie Hearn's office, and Eddie Hearn and he and Eddie Hearn had a plan. They said, look, this is the plan for us to make you the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. This is why Eddie Hearn have been relentless to get this fight. Yes, we all want to see the fight, but he made Anthony Joshua a promise and he set him a guideline as to how he was going to make him undisputed. And that means fighting all the other champions, even if you have to overpay them, you get them in the ring and then you get their belt. It was a simple process. It was the same process Don King used years ago when Mike Tyson won against Trevor Purbick, and he then picked up the WBA against Bone Crusher Smith, the IBF against Tony Tucker, and became under. They had the plan. Tyson Fury have never had a plan. He's gone from who is that? I can't remember his promoters, but it doesn't even matter. They had no plan for this guy, and this is why, as my Joe was saying, this guy went into depression because the celebration and the adulation he felt he would have received after beating Klitschko was non-existent. I live in the UK. Believe me, I know it was non-existent. All people were talking about is, oh, Klitschko lost. But let's see how he does in the rematch. People were expecting Klitschko to get the rematch because it was in the contract. And they expected Klitschko to actually beat Fury in the rematch. That's how much they thought of Fury, you see. And Fury has only made up these numbers. My Joe was spot on. Fury have only made up these numbers when he fights people who are already credible, like who are already big names, like Klitschko, like Wilder. Who else have Fury fought? And people have turned out to see his fights. No one. And this is why you see, all right, he feels he's going to win against Joshua. I think deep down he knows he's not going to win. But he's only getting this payday because of Joshua. If he had had a rematch with Deontay Wilder, you think he'd be getting this kind of money, even if Deontay was undisputed, even if Deontay Wilder was unified, so should I say, and just say Fury had one of the belts and they had to get together to make the undisputed. There's no way this guy would be making this kind of money. This guy's financial status is so, just like all the other champions that AJ have fought, whether it be Charles Martin, they had to overpay Charles Martin. Whether it be Joseph Parker, they had to overpay Joseph Parker. Even down back to Dillian White. Dillian White at that time would never have got that payday. And now Tyson Fury. But it's only because Tyson Fury, it's only because Anthony Joshua, this is the last piece of the puzzle when that needs to be fitted in to the picture. When he sat with Eddie Hearn and they made a plan, and for him to become undisputed. It doesn't matter who the champion was that he had to fight to become undisputed. Whoever it was, whether they made Wilder over 6 offers, I think even more, and he turned them down with excuses. And then, it's disgraceful what Wilder did, but never mind. That's why they pursued after Wilder all this time, only for Wilder to go and lose his belt, and then let the expiry date on his contract expire. So now there's no legal way, I don't think. Anyway, I don't know if that story is fulfilled yet, but I don't think there's a way back for him with that fight. But anyway, and this is why Fury is getting this payday. And you see, he needs to be grateful. He can talk all the smack he want to talk, but these fighters need to be grateful for Anthony Joshua and his hard work. Because if Anthony Joshua hadn't gone the way he went with Eddie Hearn, and the way Eddie Hearn promoted him on Sky, and Joshua showed his credibility in getting these belts, these guys would never get this payday, ever. None of them, especially Fury. Anyway, sorry, that's me done.
Bro, now the topic is about Anthony Joshua wanting to get into the trash talk environment, according to Eddie Hearn. Like, the last time Joshua trash talked someone was against Dillian White, okay? Back in 2015. Of course, we know the Jeremy Miller one, but the Jeremy Miller one was like, Joshua didn't really trash talk him. He just put him in his place by calling himself the landlord, So, because Miller was talking all that crap and all those stuff, Joshua wasn't even ready to trash talk him. But the person Joshua genuinely trash talked remains Dillian White. Okay, Eddie Hearn saying that to the beat up of this fight, Joshua is gonna want to get into that trash talk environment. How do you see playing out against
Well,
Fury,
well,
who's really a big talker?
If I could just say this, when there was a few months ago, I said a few months. I wonder if it was, time flies so quickly. I don't know if it was this year. I think it could even have been last year. Anthony Joshua was in Spain, and it just so turned out that Tyson Fury happened to be in Spain as well. And the two of them crossed paths. And Anthony Joshua,
It was last year.
it was last year. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, it was last year. Time flies so quickly. Sometimes you can't remember if it was this year, last year. And they had a quick words, and they were very cordial to one another. I know Tyson Fury had his children in the car and blah blah blah. But you see, I think these guys are one thing in the camera, in front of the camera. But you see, face to face, right? I don't think, to be honest, I don't think Tyson Fury really want to get into this with Anthony Joshua. Them two have fought as amateurs or young professionals before. It went the way it went. He knows about Anthony Joshua. He knows the smoke Anthony Joshua is bringing. And I don't think he really want to anger Anthony Joshua to that degree where, I think he's going to lose the fight anyway, Fury. Myself, I've always said he's going to lose this fight. And I think he could try and bring Joshua into this kind of back and forth to kind of get him off the game plan, and hopefully he will win that way. But I don't know if that's wise, because I think this back and forth could make Joshua even more focused. You see, that's how I see it. But we will see in the next few weeks how this thing does play out. But I think Joshua should really just, personally speaking, I think he have all the tools. He is a slightly changed fighter from the fighter that lost to Ruiz. I think he's more complete now than he was then even. Back then he was smoking everyone out, and I don't think he needs to get into a back and forth with Fury. But we will see if that happens in the next few weeks. But I think you need to just concentrate with Rob McCracken, or even if it's not Rob McCracken, whoever the chief second is in that corner. They must have had a game plan from way back, and just concentrate on that, and he'll knock Fury out. I believe he'll knock Fury out.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate it. Now, before we let our brother Isioma in, I'm going to ask you one last question. What if Fury were to bring the BLM, stuff in?
Look. I don't know what Fury's been saying regarding BLM, but listen, Fury, I think, realizes. You see, the clock is ticking. Every day is a day closer to him getting into that ring on August 14th and fighting and losing to AJ. And I think personally he would try and do anything to unsettle AJ. Okay? He would do anything to settle on AJ. I mean, if we want to start bringing up smoke, right? What happened to the rematch he was supposed to give Klitschko? I mean, let's talk about that then. And you're a professional. How come you didn't give Klitschko the rematch? Let's start bringing up nonsense. You know what I mean? How come you said you were suffering from all this depression, and as soon as Klitschko was firm in his retirement, you're miraculously well? What happened to that? You want to start bringing up smack about people. You know what I mean? Let's talk about all this. But we could.
And every time you have a big win, there will be massive controversy surrounding your wins.
Exactly.
Every time.
Exactly. So we need to keep quiet. Really. I mean, about bringing up smoke about people. Where's the rematches on your career? How many times have you defended your belts? Where's your undisputed? Which champions have you fought against? Really?
What happened to the farmer?
Exactly. What happened to all those accusations? I mean, Fury, to be honest with you, look, every day is a day closer, right, to this guy getting into the ring and losing. John Fury know it, Tommy Fury knew it, and Tyson Fury know it. He knows whatever he bring, right? He can dance around the ring, or he can step to AJ. Whichever Fury you want to turn up will turn up that night, and he will lose. So the only thing he can do, I think personally, is do what has always worked for him. And that's to try and unsettle opponents or just keep talking madness. He did it with Klitschko. He turned up as Batman Man and had everyone laughing like it was some joke and like he wasn't taking us seriously. Then he grab and hold and he box and he move and And Klitschko at the time, unfortunately, was going through marital issues with his woman. It all happened to come good for Fury. And where he didn't honor his contract as a man and giving Klitschko the rematch, he ended up with the victory, and Klitschko couldn't avenge it, you see. So Fury, his track record isn't great. So he can bring up BLM, he can bring up all this kind of thing to unsettle AJ. The end result is still going to be the same. He's still going to get knocked out. That's how I see it, and I've always seen it this way. I'm not just saying it now. I've always seen Fury getting knocked out by AJ.
You see the video that he posted, yesterday, taking shots at Joshua and other stuff.
If you want to look at his achievements compared to Joshua's achievements, when Fury won, you see, this is what I don't understand. In Fury's own words, he beat Klitschko, right? And in Fury's own words, he said those belts didn't see daylight. He got those belts off Klitschko, and they stayed in his house. He never went nowhere with those belts. Neither did he have any intention of even defending the belts. What a poor status for a champion. I mean, I could go into Wilder as well, but let's look at Fury. Wilder's not on the table now. It's Fury we're talking about. I mean, the guy wins these belts against Klitschko. It would have been a serious money spinner against Klitschko had he given Klitschko the rematch. But no, he knew that he would probably lose against Klitschko. It was too much of a risk, you see. So he didn't bother with the rematch. And he made up all these accusations about him not being well and all this kind of thing. But amazingly, right, as soon as Klitschko decided he was going to retire, then this guy's back in the frame. Oh yeah, I'm coming back. Oh, find me an opponent. This kind of thing. You see what I mean? So now that you were champion, who did you defend those belts against? No, you got stripped one by one of those belts. Didn't defend any. You took all this time off. When Eddie Hearn offered you a way back to fight Joshua, you turned it down. You didn't take Eddie Hearn's offer. No, you didn't do that. What you did, you went to Frank Warren and fought Pianetta and Safari. Yeah, two Albanians or wherever they're from, ranked 100 and something in the world. Yeah, and next thing you know, because Deontay Wilder wasn't willing to step up, right? You end up fighting Wilder, and it backfired on Wilder, unfortunately for Wilder. But Wilder had his opportunity too. He didn't want to fight AJ. He had over 6 to 7 offers made to him, and he turned them down. Disgraceful, right? And the truth only came out from Wilder's own mouth when he realized Fury wasn't going to give him the rematch. And he said, look, I could have earned more money, right? Because I had offers from Eddie Hearn to fight Joshua, and I turned them down to fight you. So it turns out that he did have the offers. And all this time, Wilder was telling people he never had any offers from Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, which was a lie. So you see, Fury needs to look at his own track record, really, before he start bringing up the smack. But that's his only hope, I think, of trying to unsettle AJ. But I think AJ and his camp and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, they must see this a mile off. If we on this call can see what's going on, I'm sure people advising AJ will see it and advise him to stay away from that and concentrate on the game plan. And they will have maybe 2 or 3 game plans, depending on what Fury want to do on the night. But I think whichever Fury turns up, as I said, there will be a game plan in place, I believe, from AJ and his people. And Fury, the end result will be the same. I think he will still get stopped.
Thanks, brother. So yesterday, Tyson Fury came out with a very ridiculous statement talking about the Joshua fight. So Tyson Fury came out recently talking about the Joshua fight, and he was asked about the possible ways Anthony Joshua could pull off the upset against him. Fury sees this as an upset. Fury said, I quote, Joshua can't push it off. He couldn't even pull himself off. He's on rookie numbers. Once a day, when he gets it up, when he gets it up to 7 times a day, come and see me. This guy is really one of those guys, you just look and say, but I give you some stuff here. Now, let's of course take a look at the interview right here. Okay, let's take a look at it right here, and then we're gonna proceed.
How is your journey now?
Well, I'm pretty much similar to you there. Everyone knows my public struggles have been lifelong struggles. And I've been very open about them. I've wrote about them. I've done documentaries about them. I talk about them every opportunity I get. And I'm on the same thing. We battle every day as humans, and people who suffer in silence and all that. We're on a daily battle. But I feel like now I've been able to manage my mental health with training, and I use training as a medicine. I use structured routine, like regimented lifestyle, sort of. I like to know what I'm doing. I like to have certainty in my life. And when I've not got certainty in my life, everything seems to go AWOL. I mean, my mind starts wandering, and I go very unwell again. So I like to keep myself focused on things, short-term goals. And that's how I maintain my battle with mental health. People say to me on a regular basis, oh, you're over mental health. You never get over mental health. It's not if, it's when you go back to it. Remember I said the Hotel California song, you can check out any time you want, but you can never leave. That's what mental health is to me. Because I know it's always going to be there. It's always going to be a part of my life. And the sooner I understood that, the sooner I could get on the road to recovery. If there's anybody out there suffering right now who don't know what to do or whatever, the best advice I can give anybody is communication with people. Speak to a doctor, your friend, whoever you feel like you can communicate with better, speak to that person, because as soon as you get help, you can start to get on the road to recovery and get back to being well again. My mistake was I never spoke to anybody about it for a long periods of time. I just suffered in silence. I wouldn't have had to go through a mental breakdown, back to that lonely, dark, horrible growths. We don't need to do anything stupid to ourselves. We just need to get help, and I get passionate about it when I speak about mental health. But I wasn't. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to speak, who to speak to. I didn't know where to start. And look what I did. I went from 400 pounds of fish. So life's even exceptional to a human being.
The one message I always want to make clear to everyone, that this struggle that everyone goes through, and in different, levels, that it can happen to anyone at any time, and that, this is why the talking part is so important, because there's no point of keeping up an ego or a bravado when we're in these situations, because as human beings, and especially as men, we are fragile.
We're all fragile, and no one is untouchable. Men, you're a big man, it will bring you down to your knees and beat the shit out of you if you let it. But you've got to stand up to it and fight back, because there's not one way track. Get up off your ass and do something about it. I always find that a bit of training, a bit of healthy eating, plenty of water, clean food, clean drink.
Bro, Fury didn't say shit about it. This guy used a whole 5 minutes to talk about mental health. Oh my God.
Really helps me.
Now, wow. Anyway, though, I will look for the full interview. Okay, look for the full video. But what he said regarding Joshua pulling off the upset, would you see it as an upset? Is Joshua Fury, is that an upset? Like Isioma, is that an upset before our brother Robbie come in?
Oh well, but this is typical Tyson Fury, and Joshua will always say to you, "It's Tyson Fury, isn't it?" Okay. To Tyson Fury, he's head and shoulder above Joshua. He thinks he's accomplished more than Joshua has accomplished. But we know that after the Klitschko brothers laid the light on the heavyweight division, it is Joshua who has rekindled it. It is Joshua who is the torch bearer now. It is Joshua who is giving the heavyweight division the limelight that it has gotten. All right. Even Derek Chisora did allude to that when he was having that sit-down conversation with Joseph Parker when they had, was it breakfast or lunch? I can't remember now, before this last fight. Okay. So Tyson Fury knows that the attention on the heavyweight division is on Anthony Joshua. And he feels that if he throws all of these words around, that some attention will also, of course, be caught to him. And yeah, he's achieving that. I mean, his fans would also pander to that. How do you say that if you beat Anthony Joshua, I mean, if Anthony Joshua beats you, it will be an upset? Is it because you've not had an O? I mean, you still have your O. Joshua has lost his O. Is that what it is? Like Robbie did allude to, who has he fought other than Klitschko and Wilder? And if you recall, I did say that the most boring heavyweight fight, or let me rephrase, the most boring title fight I saw in the last 6-7 years was Klitschko Fury. I mean, I can't even get myself to sit on that fight again, even if it is for the purpose of analysis. It is too boring. Too boring.
Yes.
It went the whole 9 yards, all right? And man, the second time I saw it, I said to myself, I am certain I'm not ever going to sit on this fight any longer. Meanwhile, we know that Klitschko is an entertaining fighter. So the question is, what went amiss? All right. Now, to an AJ who is good with his defense and his offense, I mean, Fury, you should be ready to dance around a lot. My co-panelists know that I have a huge ball of respect for Fury. You all know that. And you all have heard me say time and again that I cannot beat my chest and say AJ is going to make a mincemeat of Fury, even though I feel that AJ would have the better of Fury. But this is because I think Fury is a good fighter. It's just that all of these antics, all of this not defending his title, just speak volume of one thing. This guy is a duckling ducker. That exactly is what he exhibits. If you really are a fighter, if you are a boxer, you should put your belts on the line. This is about the only time you should be defending your belt, and you're bringing up all of this and tactics and antics against Wilder, against Joshua. Okay, so you feel you are the best, but really, who have you fought? Joshua has fought some of the, permit me to qualify them as assassins in the heavyweight division, and we know that. We cannot bury our heads in the sand like the ostrich. We do know that. Well, let me also add, Robbie, you forgot that he fought Chisora. Chisora is about ranked #1 in Wilder's head. I mean, in Fury's head.
Yes, that's
He's
true,
also
he did.
fought
Yes,
Otto Wallin. Otto Wallin is ranked #2. #2 in Wilder's.
true,
I mean,
he
in
did.
Fury's head. I don't know why do I keep calling Wilder? I don't know. All right. So, I mean, if an Otto Wallin could do that to Fury, it tells what clinical elite fighters are going to do to Fury. Yeah, you have the footwork, you have the head movement, all right? You have all of that, you have the jabs. But when you are pressured, you cave in. When you're pressured, you cave in. Otto Wallin told us that he exposed you. And I do think that it is because he feels that he could lose his zero. That is why he's dancing all of these macabre dance. August 14 is around the corner. I pray it sees the light of day, because I mean with Fury and his camp, you never can tell. I pray it sees the light of day, and may the better man win. But in summary again, If Joshua beats Fury, it never would be an upset. If Fury beats Joshua, it wouldn't be an upset in the eyes of the boxing fans, except people just want to live in illusion. These two are evenly matched. Why are we saying they're evenly matched? I mean, Fury has also unified the division before, even though he didn't defend it. He has also gotten the WBC. Joshua has unified the division twice. He never has gotten the WBC. Okay, and these are the two. You know, when two persons are jointly in pole position, yeah, these two guys are jointly in pole position. So Fury, yeah, you're trying to make yourself feel good, but you know for a certain that Joshua is not someone you want to joke around with. And to summarize, I mean, to close my submission, when it comes to trash talking, yeah, we know Joshua is not a trash talker. We know Joshua is a decent human. Okay. Oh yeah, look, we know you are the #1 Fury fan. We know, we know you, and I salute you for that. But you cannot tell me that they're not equally matched. You cannot tell me Fury is a league above. Fury cannot sell the kind of pay-per-view that Joshua sells. Fury has not gotten the kind of crowd to any fight venue that Joshua has pulled, not once, not twice. All right. Fury has not made the kind of money that Joshua has made, even though.
Wait, hold
Than Joshua.
Hold on, bro. Who they do the pot there? Who they hello? Who is there, bro?
It'd be like saying I'm Mario Joe.
It's dinner time, mate. It's dinner time. My wife is writing an exam. It's dinner time, mate.
You will go.
You guys want to join me, though?
You are a real African man, but now I was like, oh my God, what is happening right there? What's going on there? Oh,
you know, my wife had to chase me downstairs because she's writing an exam. So go on, guys.
No problem, bro. Meter. Okay. Let me see. Am I continue?
Yeah. So in closing my submission, I mean the trash talk lines of Fury, they are known, they are predictable. Okay, all those. I don't see anything about him that says he's going to beat me. He's got little spaghetti legs. He smells. How is he going to beat me? Those were the things he was saying to Wilder. All right. Those are the usual lines we use. This clit is getting licked on so and so day. Boom. Okay. I'm just so going to smack him like I would do to a little kid. You are a boring fighter. You are an ugly doser. I just hope he doesn't go telling Joshua at the pre-fight conference that Joshua is an ugly doser, because before Joshua would even react, the body language of the audience would have made Tyson realize that he was just being foolish. Okay. I mean, what is he going to say that Joshua does not know about? I think that even Dillian White did not really provoke Joshua to go into unnecessary trash talking. He was just throwing in one lines on Dillian White. Okay. He was saying things to him like, do you have your heart? But we know that Dillian, when he trash talks, he has varieties. He's dynamic with his trash talking. Dillian White presents and delivers tailor-made, bespoke trash talk. Tyson Fury is a generic trash talker. For an Anthony Joshua who is
good
not...
point. Very good point. Very, very good point.
Yeah,
sorry,
you,
bro. Go on.
Yeah. For, what's his name now? For an Anthony Joshua who is not a trash talker, I think he should just remain his natural self. Yeah, those points that you have, those facts you have about Fury, like you were dropping about Dillian, you can just let him do the running. Let him do the running of words. Just be dropping them intermittently, because if you want to exchange, you cannot keep up with Tyson Fury's volume of words. He likes to talk. He likes the sound of his voice. Okay, allow him wear himself out, but you just be dropping those punchlines one after the other, And for Tyson Fury, when he feels like you really are beginning to get to him, he will want to do what he did at the Fury Chisora 2 pre-fight conference. All right, that's my submission.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate you. Robbie T, your take on this?
Yeah, listen, I said when I was on the call a few weeks back, I said there's a phrase that they use when people play cards, in whether it be poker, rummy, gin, or that kind of. They say never change your winning hand or winning formula, and what is always, and I mean, if something is working, you keep doing it. If you invest money in a certain place and it keeps paying good interest, you leave the money there. You don't change it. So what the reason I say that is because what you look back, what has worked for Fury all these years when you've had these really big fights is he starts talking, acting the fool, belittling the opponent and all this kind of thing, and trying to unsettle them. And it's worked. So he have no reason to feel that it will not work again, because it's worked in times past, you see, against other opponents. But the thing I'm saying to myself is the people around Anthony Joshua, they're not silly. They would have known this was coming, this kind of thing. And I'm sure their game plan, I'm talking about the AJ surrounders, the people in his immediate circle, in his camp, they probably keep him off social media. They probably say, look, don't listen to this guy. Let's just stick to the game plan and we'll get the win. We'll become undisputed. And this was always the goal. It's Fury's goal to try and unsettle you. Don't fall for it. And I don't believe he will fall for it. But one thing I wondered a while back when I was thinking of this, because I believed that the fight would get made, because all the interviews I heard with Eddie Hearn, I believed it would get made, and it has been made. But I have to wonder what is going to happen to Fury after this fight, because I don't believe he's going to win. How is he going to cope with that? He's made a lot of money, and he will make a lot of money for this fight. But after all this talking he's doing, and all this bad mouthing he's doing, and to then go and lose, I think he's going to be in a bad place, this guy. And you see, Anthony Joshua has shown that he can cope with defeat and come back. I don't think Fury will cope with this too well, because he went into depression after the biggest win of his life in Klitschko. So imagine a loss of this magnitude, how that's going to affect him. I mean, we should think about that, really.
We will pray for him, bro. We'll keep him in prayers.
Well, of course.
We actually did mirror this in some time last week or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. Mario Joe, I don't know if you were on that discussion. We did fear that if this fight does not go his way, it should really be looked in on before that triggers again. Look, personally, I like this guy. I like him. He entertains me. I love his fighting style. All right. Even though, of course, I would always wish for AJ more than I would wish for Fury. And I think also that beyond his inconsistencies, I think he has a good heart somewhere. So I wouldn't want to see him having another bout with depression. So I do hope that he would have the best of psychologists around him
Yeah.
the best of, all of those that should ensure that there's not another trigger. I mean, he should be told he has a lovely wife, he has amazing kids. Okay, the grandma is still there, the uncles love him, the father is there with him and for him. He should be told that the man after whom he was named, Mike Tyson, as phenomenal as he is, okay, had a couple of losses, but he bounced again. All right. It should be told that Muhammad Ali, whom we all consider to be the greatest of all time, had a couple of losses, but he was still the legend that he was, even till passing. So I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but I think that some of these should be drummed into him. Okay. Um, Now, before the fight heats up, because if these are getting drummed into him when the fight is thickened and it's in the air, they might just be the ingredient for his defeat, as he might be conscious of those and carry them into the ring. So I don't know how they're going to work on all these around him, but I think that it is something that we should consider.
Thanks, but
And I
yeah.
also think that in all honesty, even if he wins, because remember the last time he went into that depression was when he beat Klitschko. So
Exactly.
I think another thing with Fury as well is he can't have it too high and he can't have it too low, because if he wins, it might be a situation where he's going to look around and ask himself this question: what else do I have to prove to anyone? And that in itself, could actually send him into a place where we don't want him to go. Because at the end of the day, when we talk about these fighters, we love them all. We don't want to see anyone, go into depression or. But I think that he's a better person now. I hope and I pray he's a better person. I hope he's a stronger person mentally. And for him to also realize that he has been lucky in his career, because he actually has had a couple of losses that had his decision went his way. Like that fight against, even as recent as the fight he had against Otto Walling. If that was someone else, he had already lost that fight. That's just the truth of the whole matter. But they had to just allow him to keep fighting, because normally that fight should have been called off. So, and the first fight he had against McDermott, he also lost that fight. So he also needs to realize that, listen, I have been fortunate, I've been blessed to have had decisions go my way, at least a couple of decisions. So, let's see what happens anyway.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Robert T. Yeah. So Joshua bidding Tyson Fury to you is not an upset, right? By the way, Fury thinks.
Definitely not. That narrative he's trying to put out there. You see, look, if that's an upset, we have to go back to what we previously been talking. If he wants to sow that seed into the minds of everyone that Joshua beating him is going to be a huge upset, and everyone around the world is hearing him say this. So what happens when Joshua beats him? Joshua is going to be larger than life. And where does that leave Fury? You see, Tyson needs to keep quiet, really, with these things he's saying, because he's not stopping to think about what he's actually saying. He's actually digging a grave, not literally a grave. He's actually digging a ditch, should we say, for his own self. Because when this fight doesn't go his way, he's already told people that this is a huge, huge upset. So what happens when Joshua pulls off this upset? Where does that leave him? And how does that, how are people going to react to him that he has let this upset happen? You see, because I have no doubt, I have never had any doubt that Joshua will beat him, you see. But you see, Tyson just needs to stop and think what he's saying. But you see, that goes, the people around him, they're probably geeing him up, as they say in London, to egging him on, as they say in England, to say these things. It means they're supporting what he's saying, because they think, he's going to win. I mean, whether they believe it or not, but they have him to go out there and tell people he's going to win, which I suppose he has to do. But You know, when this doesn't go his way, I don't see this ending well, you know. And I think the medical people need to really look out for this guy because I don't think he couldn't handle the biggest win of his career in any good way. He should have been happy on top of the world. But you see, he went into depression after the biggest win when he was unified champion against Vladimir Klitschko. You see? And this is so I'm thinking, how is he going to handle the biggest loss of his career against a fellow Brit? Man, I tell you, I don't see this ending well for him. I'm sorry to say it, but it's his own fault. It's because it's his own words that have dug him this ditch that he's going to end up in.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate it. Now, for those of you guys who are watching, let me give a shout out to the people watching. I don't know if any of you guys want to add something to it, but if not, let me give a shout out to the people watching right now. Shout out to Lucan, okay. Shout out to TK. Shout out to Shady, Ugo Oji, yeah. Shout out to Pata Protein Bashir. Shout out to Robert Brown. Shout out to you guys are many. Wait, let me see. Fitzroy Waters. Shout out to Amuda Kolawole. Yeah, Kolawole. Shout out to you, brother. You know, I'm seeing all you guys comments here. Shout out to Tafida Gazama. Shout out to Zoe Parry. And to the rest of you guys watching. God bless you all. Do you guys, any of you guys have anything to add to it before we move right here?
Yes. I do have something to add actually. So have you guys now seen the news that the arbitration is going to be sorted next Monday? It's going to be a final decision.
What arbitration?
Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. It's been all over the news today.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Oh, it's been everywhere today. It's been everywhere now. That,
so the arbitration will be sorted next week, Monday.
The final decision, yes. And
I didn't know
whatever.
This. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, and that whatever happens. Oh, it's it's all over YouTube. It's all over YouTube. And whatever happens wouldn't affect the fights.
I would love to hear from Adewale. Adewale, do we have you here? We don't have Adewale here.
No, Adewale is not here.
Okay. My Joe, but what was your take on it? Oh my God! Wow, that's breaking news, man.
Yeah. So today, I would say in a long time, today is the first time that I actually now feel a bit positive. Remember, I've been quite skeptical about this fight happening. I've been saying that until I know what is happening with the arbitration, I'm not gonna have, I wouldn't have the full confidence that this fight is happening. But now that the news is out there that this whole thing is going to be coming to an end, I think I'm more positive, and I'm hoping that everything goes well. And I think Wilder is going to get a payout or something like that. And I think that's what it's gonna. That's what the decision is going to be at the end of the day. I don't think that at this stage now, seeing everything that has happened and how far they have gone in the negotiation, and the fact that Frank Warren is now beginning to sound a little bit more positive, and we've not really heard a lot from Bob Arum, but Frank Warren now is beginning to change his tune, he's beginning to sound more positive. It just shows me that it looks like there has been movement behind the scenes. So now I'm now getting slightly excited. I'm still going to control my emotions, but I'm getting slightly excited that it looks like this is really going to happen.
Wow, that's great, man. That's great. That's impressive. Wow. Robert T.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was it Maya Joe who was just talking just now?
Yes. Bro.
Yeah, sorry. Did they say, because I haven't even heard this news, I don't even know where I've been, I haven't heard this news.
You know what I'm going to do? I'll forward the link now hold on a sec. Because I saw a couple of videos on YouTube today.
Okay,
hold on.
but I wanted to ask: did they say the result of this arbitration?
The result of it, yes.
Did
yes.
they say it would or it wouldn't affect the?
No,
AJ
it wouldn't.
Fury?
It wouldn't affect. It wouldn't.
It
affect.
wouldn't.
No.
Wow. Ay.
It wouldn't affect. And if you notice, right, because this development apparently they said has been in the last few days, and you notice that Frank Warren is sounding more positive now. He's not been as negative as he has been throughout the period of this negotiation. He's now talking about the date when this is going to happen. He's now, even today on, I think it was on Sky Sports, if I remember clearly, they did ask Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn did say something about it as well, to say that is not going to be a problem in any way at all. That now he's even more confident that that's not going to be a problem.
Wow, brilliant!
Oh,
brilliant.
I just saw it now. Posted by Mike Composure. Oh,
exactly,
brilliant.
All right. Let me read it out, guys, so you guys can see right here. So, Mike Composure posted it. Oh, it says sources. Resolution expected in Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder arbitration in coming days, potentially by Monday. The dispute surrounds the rematch clause. Is Wilder hold a third fight? Former judge Daniel Weinstein will rule. Will Wilder be awarded damages? Will Fury simply move on? Those are question marks out there, So, Robbie T.
Listen, I think this is great news that finally, should I say, this whole situation with Deontay Wilder is Tyson Fury, is going to be finally put to bed. But I think, I don't want to go off onto this now because it's a separate subject, but I think it's shameful and very sad that Deontay Wilder have ended up in this situation, because he had numerous opportunities, numerous paydays at the time when Deontay Wilder was first won the title against Berman Stavern. This guy wasn't even on $1 million a fight, and Eddie Hearn was throwing so much money after this guy, only to have the thing thrown back at him with lies by him, Shelley Finkel, and all these guys lying, saying that Eddie Hearn doesn't really want the fight. He's not making these offers. He's telling people he's making. He had so much opportunity, Deontay Wilder, to be in Tyson Fury's situation, with the biggest, and that would have been an even bigger fight than the Fury AJ fight, I believe. Because Deontay Wilder at that time was known as a ferocious puncher, and AJ was on a pedestal when he beat Klitschko. So it would have been an even bigger fight. But he turned all these offers down, and now look where he is. I think it's terrible management, and you have to blame Deontay Wilder for this. You can't blame anyone else, because at the end of the day, he's the fighter, and he turned these offers down. Look, how many heavyweight? Imagine someone offered Effie Ajagbe that kind of money. They offered him $5 million to fight AJ. You think he's going to turn that down? You think these fighters coming up now wouldn't like to earn $5 million, and much less $50 million, and how much ever else was sent after this guy, and all to have it turned back? I think it's terrible. And whatever the judge rules, is still a loss for Deontay Wilder, because he should have been fighting AJ for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, and given himself an opportunity to become undisputed. He's never going to be undisputed now. This is the thing, because those belts after this fight in August will be fragmented. There's too many mandatories circling that need to be taken care of. The WBA haven't called a mandatory for some time. You can believe they're going to call one. The IBF haven't called one for some time. They're going to call one soon. And we got the winner of Usyk, Joe Joyce. That's going to be called almost immediately after the two of them fight. So AJ is not going to be able to uphold all these obligations. They're all going to come to head around the same time, you see. So the belts will be fragmented. So I don't think Deontay Wilder has enough. He's too old now, I think, to be really pursuing an undisputed heavyweight championship. And now people have already seen the blueprint to beat him. Terrible, terrible, Deontay Wilder. I can't tell you how disappointed I am in that guy, if I be honest.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate it. Isioma, your take on it before we vote. Wow.
Yeah, in less than a minute, I'm just going to say that if ultimately the outcome of the arbitration resolution is not going to affect the Joshua Fury fight, then they should go sort themselves out. All I wanted, and I believe boxing fans globally wanted, was the undisputed. Wilder bungled his chance, like Robbie has rightly said. He bungled his chance, and we just want to see the undisputed fight. It is even the more interesting that it is an all-British undisputed heavyweight fight. It's never happened in the history of boxing. This is going to be the first time, and boxing seems to be residing in the UK now, across divisions, particularly in the heavyweight. So my joy is that the outcome of the arbitration resolution is not in any way, from what Mayo Joe has quipped, it's not in any way going to infringe on the eventuality of the AJ Fury undisputed bouts.
Thanks, brother. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what the outcome will be, the outcome of the ruling. Man, but right now, I'm just looking forward to it. Eddie Hearn has responded, according to our brother Maojo, that it won't affect the fight regardless of what the judge rules. That's good news. No wonder Frank Warren have been more positive than ever. I think they got the confirmation, and they said, okay, we're good to go now. And the date has been agreed, August 14th. Joshua vs. Fury is happening. Okay, I think that means after that, I think they are waiting for that. The ruling of the judge before they announce it. I think that's what has been holding up, the fight. And Team Fury they haven't been really sincere to be like they haven't been sincere with the fans or with Eddie Hearn or with Team Joshua. That's the reason why they've been trying to get out, trying to use every method to get out. But now it's like, no, they can't get out anymore. They can't get out. If they get out now, they will be, ridiculed by the fans, and that's just a fact. So I want to say big shout out to each and every one of you that watched the channel. To my Nigerian brothers, I love you guys. I appreciate you all. To my Nigerian sisters as well. To my American brothers and sisters, to my British fans, every boxing fans that support the channel, I appreciate you all. God bless you all, my African brothers. Not too much. Cheers, bro.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, brothers. Not too much.